it's like very similar to somebody who wins the lottery and they get all of a sudden, there's that one guy who just won $2 billion. I think he took home $1 billion.
Oh
He
my
just went out and bought a $25 million house in Los Angeles. There's very few human beings on the planet that can handle $1 billion.
Exactly.
And literally just the management, the ego, the responsibility, all of it. But there's others who you give, an Elon Musk $1 billion, he's like, okay. And he's fine because he's been dealing with that kind of money for a long time.
Yes.
But that's the same concept. Like that's why most lottery winners lose all their money within 5 years. They can't receive that much because they just can't handle it mentally, physically, spiritually. They just can't deal with it. So I agree. I understand what you're saying. But Michael, I have to ask you, because this is such an important conversation, Michael. And I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate that you are spending this time with us. And I really do hope it does help others around the world. And I get many messages from people who listen to the show who are diagnosed with something terminal, who look to these episodes to make them feel more comfortable with what's coming.
Yes.
Do you have any message or any words for people like that, and also for people who are dealing with their loved ones going through this?
Yes. For the loved ones, sometimes I feel it's even more difficult for the loved ones because they're staying, right? At least for a little while. And they're the ones who have to pick up the pieces of even a person who considers themselves not that important. When they die, it's going to impact at least a few people. But it's going to impact a lot more than how many people they think they're going to impact, because everybody's related to everybody else in that sense. And there's kind of a ripple effect. So when we're dealing with any kind of dying process, whether it's a medical diagnosis saying, okay, you got so many days to live or whatever, or it's a divorce, that's a dying process. Any kind of process where one person feels that they're losing something significant, something very important to them in their lives, and it gets taken away from, seemingly gets taken away from them, that loss is the hardest part of facing death. Facing, and I'm going to broaden that to not just physical death. That's just one thing that everybody associates with dying. But here, there's no dying in spirit.
Right.
No such thing. So dying is only an experience that someone has here when they're incarnated in this world. And in a sense, when we're living every day of our lives, we have to learn to die correctly, because dying is a decision we make on relationship. Every single relationship, however important or deep or superficial a relationship is, if you really look around in your life, anybody listening to this, you'll find everything, all your experiences is a result of some sort of relationship. You relating to something. You could be relating to just energy, or you could relate to a person or an organization or a whole country or whatever it is, but you're just relating to something. And it's in how you relate to everything you experience in life starts to shape your path of where you're headed. And the practice of learning to die correctly, that's what put me on this path I've been on ever since I was a month before I turned 21. My teacher said, you know, we all have a choice in how we wish to die. And that struck me right between the eyes, because I always knew we have a choice in how we wish to live. But that's the first time anybody told me we have a choice in how to die. We can choose. And then he clarified himself a little bit more. He says, you could choose to die in pain and suffering, as many people unconsciously do. Or you can choose to die in love, in a state of a loving state of mind, and at peace with yourself. You have whatever choice you like to make. And at that moment, that was so profound for me that I said, no brainer. I choose to die right now. I'm going to choose to die in a state of love, in love, and at peace with myself. So from that moment, it set my path for the whole lifetime. And I've been practicing every day dying. And sometimes I got it right. And I go, wow, that's definitely a good way to die. And other times it didn't work.
To watch the full video, click on the link below. And don't forget to subscribe.